Friday's game was suspended in the top of the 7th with the score tied at 3. Today we'll finish up game 1 of the series against the Pirates. Well, as Ernie Banks might say, let's play 1 1/3. We will finish yesterday's game suspended in the top of the 7th. The Pirates and the Cubs tied at 3. And we're ready to resume. 1 out in the top of the 7th. Jordy Mercer against Neil Ramirez, who had retired Josh Harrison before the second delay, and away we go.
We never left. We've been sitting right here ever since that game was suspended yesterday, anxiously awaiting the return of baseball. Free baseball for a lot of the folks that are here early and anticipating the regularly scheduled game.
The 3-0 from Ramirez misses, and that's ball 4 to send Mercer down to first. I was going to say everything's the same except we're wearing clean underwear.
Yeah. Neil Ramirez follows Wada, Villanueva, and Grimm into this ball game, and he's been outstanding this year. An 0.96 ERA. And it's got to be a bit of a funky feeling for him to have already been in the game and then go down to the bullpen to warm up and essentially start this final third of the ball game.
Now McCutchen, 1 for 2, also hit by a pitch, and low and outside, ball 1. We'll give you an umpire update. Remember, DJ Rayburn was under the weather, so we played the first almost 7 innings with 3 umpires yesterday. Brian O'Nora is back at the plate. Dan Bellino's at first. Jeff Kellogg, the crew chief, at second. And fill-in umpire Chad Whitson, good old number 62, is over at third. Short lead by Mercer. Here's the 1-0 pitch, and it's a breaking ball outside, 2-0.
And so with this resumption of this ball game, very few people in the ballpark, so it has the feel of a spring training B game, but for the Pirates it's a very, very important game.
Now they're 5 back in the division and 2 behind Milwaukee in the wild card race, that second wild card spot. Only 1 back though in the lost column.
And I imagine that's the message that's being delivered in both dugouts from the manager and the coaches. Let's go. Let's be ready to play.
Strike called, and it's 2-1. Tsuyoshi Wada started this game, left in the 4th inning due to mild calf cramping. We've seen Villanueva, Grimm, and now Ramirez. For the Pirates, Vance Worley went 4 2/3. Justin Wilson got an out. Jared Hughes with an inning of work. A little easier for these 2 managers with a suspended game in that you've got the expanded rosters. Here's the 2-1. It's a strike, 2-2. Wind blowing in, cool here at the ballpark.
Yeah, there's the other huge difference, right? When we started yesterday, it was about 87 degrees.
It feels like it's in the mid to upper 60s with that wind coming in off the lake. High sky today. Alcantara started the game at center, now playing second. And it's circular around as he makes the grab, 2 down.
The ball was carrying well yesterday. Now wind blowing in. It proved to be a very interesting day with that high sky.
Martin has gotten on all 3 times and in different ways, and none have been hits. Reached on an error in the first, hit by a pitch in the third. He walked in the 5th. Thought he might come out of the game before the first rain delay after he fouled one off his leg. But he stayed in. 1 strike.
I wonder what the record is for different ways to reach first base. And again, we talked about that trivia question the other day about all the different ways you can. But I wonder how many different times it's actually been done by one guy in a ball game. Kind of has you rooting for a catcher's interference.
Mercer takes off, swing and a miss by Martin. The throw gets into center. Mercer will be allowed now to advance to third, as Baker's throw tailed toward right center. So stolen base and an error.
Yeah, Mercer got a pretty good jump here. It was a breaking ball. You see the break. Very little chance he was going to get him. He threw out McCutchen earlier in the ball game, but this throw sails on him. Alcantara not able to keep it in the infield, and an extra 90 feet from Mercer. Pirates run a lot. Mercer, as you see, not one of their players who has stolen a bunch of bases. Just 3 so far for Jordy Mercer.
Two strikes on Martin. Deep breath by Ramirez. The pitch. Just got a piece of it on a check swing.
Baker calling for the high fastball there, and obviously this is a very important run. Top half of the 7th inning. You got the jump on the hitter. You want to expand the zone, either high fastball or breaking ball in the dirt. Of course, the breaking ball in the dirt, there's the possibility of it getting away and the Pirates scoring a cheap run.
And he went. That's a strikeout. And hey, let's stretch.
Man, we've been here all day. We need to stretch.
Today's guest conductors for Take Me Out to the Ball Game. Cast members of Clemente, the Legend of 21.
All right, Cub fans, let me hear ya. A 1, a 2, a 3. Take me out to the ball game. Take me out to the crowd. Buy me some peanuts and Cracker Jacks. I don't care if I ever get back, for it's root for the Cubbies. If they don't win, it's a shame. For it's 1, 2, 3 strikes, you're out at the old ball game. Let's get some runs.
Bottom of the 7th. A couple of changes for the Pirates, but first let's reset the Cubs' current lineup. We mentioned Alcantara began the game in center. He's now at second base. Another RBI today for Jorge Soler in the cleanup spot today. A sac fly back in the 3rd inning, and 2 changes for the Pirates. Clint Barmas is going to come in and play short and hit in the 9th spot. And the new pitcher is southpaw Tony Watson.
Watson, one of the better setup guys in the National League. Disregard the 10-1 record. Sometimes that can be misleading, but that .68 ERA will tell the story.
Facing Javier Baez.
I shouldn't say disregard the 10-1 record, but a lot of times with a relief pitcher, that can be a misleading statistic, even more so than it can be with a starting pitcher. Big strikeout numbers.
Yeah. Worley, Wilson, Hughes, Watson for the Pirates. Pedro Strop up in the home bullpen. The 2-0. Big cut and a foul tip by Baez. Single in the first, caught looking in the third, and then again in the fifth. Second suspended game for both teams this year. For the Cubs, second one in just over a couple of weeks. August 19th against the Giants. Remember the protest upheld. They resumed the game a couple of nights later. The Cubs held on to win. Pirates also had a suspended game in April in Cincinnati. Finished it the following day. That's what pulled into left and a foul ball. I thought that was going to stay fair, but
off the end of the bat, he got out around it a little bit, had hook spin, but yeah, initially it looked like that would be a double in the left field corner for Baez. So cracks his bat, plus it goes foul on him. Now, if you recall the first suspended game, a little turnover changeup here from Watson. Catches him out in front, right off the end of the bat. Like 5 of the first 6 hitters for the Cubs struck out. Yusmeiro Petit came out of the Giant bullpen.
Ball 4. Baez is aboard to lead off the bottom of the 7th. Yeah, very little offense after we resumed. The Giants scored a run, but the Cubs held on to win that game.
Watson walking out behind the mound after getting the ball back from the catcher, probably telling himself, wait a minute, they told me that kid swings at everything. Baez double crossed him, worked the leadoff walk.
That brings up Luis Valbuena. He has flied to left, doubled, walked, and scored twice. And the pitch in there for a strike. Yeah, it has to be a little weird. I mean, obviously Ramirez knew he was going to stay in the game. He had gotten the first out before the second delay. I'm sure Tony Watson was alerted that there was a good chance he would come into this game as their first pitcher this afternoon. So you have a couple of relievers basically went to bed last night almost like a starter would.
Yeah, knowing that they were going to get the assignment the next day.
One strike. Slide step in the pitch. Valbuena sends it high in the air to deep right. And that ball will land foul.
Oh, my.
Just foul. So it landed on the field right in that corner, but did not end up fair, which is very tough to do.
Yeah, it's almost impossible.
And no argument from Eric Hinsky. Let's see.
This just grazed the wall on the way down, yeah. So Baez just missed a double down the left field line. Now Valbuena comes within inches of one down the right field line, one that would have scored the go-ahead run in all likelihood.
Back to the bullpens for a moment. It will be interesting to see what both managers do for game 2 in terms of will they use guys who will have pitched today in game 1. My guess is in the Cubs case, Ricky Renteria will be pretty conservative. We probably won't see Ramirez later this afternoon. But the Pirates are in a much different situation. These are really important games.
Yep, you ask more out of your club when you're in a pennant race like the Pirates are, or a wild card race, however you want to define it.
We should also note this particular game will be logged as being played on September 5th, even though we're finishing it here a day later.
Oh, we're going to get into that whole tomorrow thing again.
Soler on deck, 2-2 on Valbuena. Watson throws over. There'll be a lot more people in the stands here as the next hour unfolds, with the regularly scheduled game listed at 3:05. We won't start that early. And time called. Valbuena requested, and Brian O'Nora granted it.
Yeah, Watson holding the ball a good long while there, and you know, hitters, they get into a rhythm where they can concentrate for only so long. Watson holding it and holding it and holding it, and Valbuena ultimately said, you know what, I need to reset here. Kind of like a free throw shooter. They get used to a rhythm. Go to the line, 3 or 4 bounces, whatever it is, whatever their routine is. Look up, see the rim, shoot the ball. Putter, standing over the golf ball. You stand over too long, you just start to feel unsure of yourself. You got to step away. Same thing with a hitter.
Another 2-2. It's low and outside, and it's full. You don't want to run out of an inning here. You've got a guy with a really good arm behind the plate in Martin. You've got a left-handed pitcher
who gets a lot of strikeouts. I'm not running here.
Neither is Baez. Ball 4. Back-to-back walks.
It's interesting. Yesterday at the beginning of the ball game, we thought Brian O'Nora had a bit of a tight strike zone. Then as the game went along, it looked like he opened it up a little bit. And I think Tony Watson would argue that he's gone back into tight mode here as we resume this pitch. Borderline. We'll see. We'll get a look at it on our pitch tracks. Number 7 certainly could have been.
Yeah, that would have probably been called a strike after the rain delay. You're right. Big spot here, Soler. 2 on, nobody out in a tie ball game. He is the first player with a sac fly earlier in the game since the Philadelphia A's Buddy Blair in 1942 to have at least an RBI and or an extra base hit in his first 8 career games, and a big cut, and he came up empty.
Watson will go mid-90s with that fastball from a low 3/4 delivery. Has the ability to shoot it in on the hands of a right-handed hitter. He'll sink it. He'll cut it. He'll throw a 2-seamer. He'll throw a change-up and a slider.
Out of play, 0-2.
Pretty big arsenal for a guy who pitches typically 1 inning at a time.
Game 2 starters, Francisco Liriano and Felix Doubront in a matchup of lefties. Two is off the plate in.
Been around the cage watching batting practice earlier today, and was down there when Soler was taking his swings. He's really interesting. He's a young guy, but he's got a very mature approach. We've talked about his patience, his BP too. He takes the first round, he makes sure he shoots the ball the other way. He's not trying to hit it out onto the street, just kind of works on his swing, moves the ball around the diamond, and then when he starts to turn it loose, it's amazing how hard the ball comes off his bat.
Good take there on the changeup. 2-2. Chris Coghlan on deck. Already been a very long inning for Watson. 17 pitches, 2 walks, and he hasn't gotten an out. Slide step in the pitch. That one lined foul. They pulled that one right out of Martin's glove.
Yep. Big guy with a wide stance takes up 3/4 of that batter's box.
Swing and a miss. He got him on a slider. That's out number 1. A big one for Watson.
I guess it speaks to the confidence that Clint Hurdle has in Watson, that after back-to-back walks, still nobody up in the Pirate bullpen. This guy's been so good. The trust factor sky high for Clint Hurdle when Watson's on the bump.
Coghlan a couple of walks. Those were against the starter Worley, who went 4 2/3. Broken bat roller. Watson able to avoid the bat. A little shovel pass there by Walker to Davis. And that's out number 2. Cubs will have 2 in scoring position. Well, that was a dangerous situation for the pitcher Watson.
Yeah, your instincts tell you that when the ball's hit on the ground to the right side of the infield to break the cover first, but there was a bat in the way. He had to hesitate. Davis started to break for the ball before scrambling back to the base. A whole lot going on there, and ultimately the Pirates able to get the out.
Chris Valaika. 2 hits. RBI single in the 5th. He doubled back in the 2nd. Reached down an error in the 3rd. Strike called. The single in the 5th inning tied the ball game. Knocked Worley out of the contest. One strike offering, swing and a miss on the changeup. 0-2. Wellington Castillo on deck. That's good to see. He was scratched from the starting lineup yesterday with some back stiffness. We should see him in the lineup for game 2. He might bat here in game 1. Two strikes on Valaika. The pitch. Hook to left, and it's foul. Right off the bullpen mound.
Another broken bat. It's at least 3 in this inning.
It's also 3 close calls in terms of extra base hits in this inning. Baez, Valbuena, and Valaika hugging the foul lines. I feel like ice cream. I don't know about you.
Get him up here.
One vociferous vendor. Yeah. I'm in. Another 0-2. 1-2.
He's saying ice cream is what he's saying.
You scream, we all scream for ice cream.
Ice cream. You buy.
Well, he just sold 4 of them. Strike 3 called, 95 on the inside corner. Watson walked the first 2 of the inning and then retired the final 3. We're tied after 7. Three, and another hard throwing reliever making an appearance today. Pedro Strop.
Strop 2 and 4 in 57 games. He's picked up a couple of saves along the way. 236 earned run average. Struck out better than 28% of the hitters he has faced. He's also carrying a pretty high walk rate, just about 11%. You can live with a higher walk rate when you strike out a lot. That's the case with most of these short relievers. Mid-90s fastballs. Strop, his best secondary pitch, a slider. Throw the occasional splitter.
Ball 1 on Starling Marte.
Marte dangerous in that he has power, but he also has speed. So if he reaches, he's a threat to steal a base.
We'll get out of play. We've seen him up at the top of the order, but right now that's Josh Harrison. So Marte hitting 5th. One and one the count.
Yeah, back in the day, the Astros had the killer B's. The Pirates, they got all the M's.
Alcantara gets Marte. One down here in the 8th.
Mercer, McCutchen, Martin, and Marte. 2 through 5 in the batting order today or yesterday. Whatever today is.
Davis pinch hit and came into play first after the first rain delay. 2 hours 32 minutes total in delays yesterday. 17 games have been delayed this season for the Cubs, covering 25 hours and 18 minutes. Oh, and 1. Outside, 1 ball, 1 strike. Here it comes. Ground ball. Nice play, Valbuena. Throw to first, in plenty of time. It's kind of been his trademark here lately, that backhanded play, a little spin move.
Takes a pretty nasty hop on him. He stays right with it. This time a good strong throw across the diamond. He was charged with a throwing error earlier in the ball game. This one on the money.
Switch hitter Walker takes ball 1. According to Baseball Reference, Valbuena has actually been a negative player in terms of his defensive wins above replacement. He's plus .6 in his career. And he's made some nice plays as of late over there at third. A swing and a miss. Now 2-1. Three and 1. Tabata on deck.
Dangerous from this side of the plate. He's hit 18 home runs this year, 17 as a left-handed batter.
Swings over the top of a slider, and it's full 3-2. Walker beat the Cubs on opening day in Pittsburgh with a 10th inning home run of Carlos Villanueva. Look at that. 17 of his 18 homers have come from the left side.
Yeah, he's a different guy. More power as a left-handed hitter, and that's why they threw him that 3-1 breaking ball. And there's another one on 3-2.
Ball 4.
Strop has only allowed 2 home runs all year. They came in the same ball game against the Pirates back in April. He's done a heck of a job keeping the ball in the ballpark.
Jose Tabata. As Harry would say backwards, that's at a bat. He's got 2 hits, including an RBI double in the 4th. Pitch. Strike called on a slider. Rays leading the Orioles late 2-1 in St. Pete. The Giants out on top of the Tigers late as well, 5-3. They had a long rain delay last night. Giants won that ball game. How about the home runs in that game? Buster Posey hit his 20th today.
Man, he's been on fire.
Miguel Cabrera hit his 20th. Victor Martinez hit his 30th. Two strikes on Tabata. 3 strikes on Tabata. Strop gets out of it. 2-out walk, no runs. Bottom of the 8th coming up, 3-3. A pitch hitter, Junior Lake, for Pedro Strop. See his numbers here at the big league level. Lake brought back on Tuesday from Iowa. He was optioned there on August 15th. 262 in 14 games at Iowa with 2 home runs. So Watson continues on. High fly ball to left. Marte gathers it in. 1 away. Bring up Baker, the catcher.
Hector Rondon warming up in the Cubs bullpen. He'll get the 9th.
Baker started the game at 200, now down to $1.98. 0 for 2 with a walk. Watson slings it in at 92 for a strike. There is a hard throwing Rondon. Everybody we've seen.
Yeah, Renteria he's in go for it mode here. He's playing this game. He's got a chance to win. It's a tie game. Not saving any bullets for that second game. Not to say that he couldn't use any of these pitchers, but they've been very careful with these young arms. Might be kind of fun to see how he deploys that bullpen in game 2.
1-1. In on the hands. Baker fights it off foul. I like the rule change, and it was a few years ago. If this had happened 10, 15 years ago, what we saw yesterday, JD, the game would have ended in a tie, would have counted, all the stats would have counted, we would have started over today. But these games now suspended and completed on another day, and I like that rule change. So no more ties. Low and outside. Did you know that Davey Lope's first ever game as the Milwaukee Brewers manager ended in a tie?
No, I did not know that.
Yeah. Two on Baker. Here it is. Yanked foul. Nothing but blue skies above. That was not the case yesterday and last night. And be careful out there. There were some power lines down in the northern suburbs, at least, and I'm sure other places as well in the area. Nasty storms came through. There was a tree in my neighborhood. I didn't think it was possible to knock that thing over. And the storm did
it's amazing
just that.
what they're,
Strike 3. Baker frozen. Third strikeout for Watson.
Tough customer, especially to the left-handed hitters. This ball cuts to the outside corner. So he's faced 7 hitters. 2 have put the ball in play.
That's Caesar. Came into play center in the 6th. Guess we'll have about 40-45 minutes between games. And again, lefties on the mound later. Liriano and Dubront. One punched into center. Soft liner for Caesars. He keeps the inning alive. Going to bring up Alcantara, who will bat right-handed.
Again, Caesar with base stealer's speed, but the combination of lefty on the mound, Martin behind the plate, makes it a little tougher. Alcantara does have power from both sides of the plate.
Pretty good lead by Matt, and a check on him by Watson. Long pause by the lefty, big leg kick and a pitch, and Alcantara fouls back to the net. As we mentioned back in August when we had the suspended situation with the Giants, game completed 2 days later. A couple of decades ago, there may have been some people who showed up for the regularly scheduled game going, what in the world's happening here? Why are they playing right now? But I would imagine everybody in the ballpark knows the story from yesterday. Might be a few people who didn't check their iPhone this morning. Maybe got up late and just threw on their baseball clothes and headed out here. But that'd be a nice surprise, though, wouldn't it?
A little bonus baseball.
Show up for a 3 o'clock game and they're already playing. Bounce to third. Harrison will throw across the diamond. Watson with a couple of scoreless innings. And we will go to the 9th, tied at 3. for the Pirates and the Cubs today. And the closer is on, trying to save a tie here in the ninth.
This game's not just tied, it's very tied. And Hector Rondon is 3-4 with a 2.65 ERA. He's got 23 saves and 27 tries. He's been just brilliant of late. He's got an 0.45 ERA since the All-Star break. In 20 innings of work in the second half, he's allowed just 13 hits. He has struck out 19. He has now walked a single batter.
Clint Barmas, his first at bat. Came into play short in the bottom of the seventh. No more for his glove than the stick as he rolls one to his counterpart. Baez, one away. Now Josh Harrison, 3 out of 4 hits in his first 3 plate appearances, 2 doubles, an RBI, and a run. Ramirez got him on a ground out before the second and final delay before they suspended it yesterday. 3:14, he's trailing Ben Revere by a couple of points for the batting average lead in the NL. Strike called at 96.
You know, it's fairly typical for a manager to use his closer in this situation in his home ballpark because there will be no save opportunity going forward. Pirate closer Mark Melanson's up in the Pittsburgh bullpen, and normally what you see is the closer up and somebody else. So it would be the closer if the Pirates get the lead, and it would be, option B if it remained tied. But Clint Hurdle's going to go with Melanson here regardless. Speaks to where we are in the schedule, where they are in the standings.
One, 2 on the way in the dirt.
Pirates, depending on how you look at it, it was a good day for them yesterday in that Milwaukee beat St. Louis, so picked up a little ground on the Cardinals, but not on the Brewers.
Milwaukee finally ended its 9-game losing streak and also stopped the Cardinals' 6-game winning streak, 6-2, the final score. Swing and a miss. 97. Good heat from Rondon. 2 down.
And Rondon's going along so nicely now. If he gives up hard contact, it really gets your attention. Whoa, the barrel went up against him. I mean, he's pitching with a lot of confidence, but more importantly, he's pitching with precision at 97 miles an hour.
Travis Snyder now for Watson.
How would you not pitch with confidence when you've got an arm like Hector Rondon?
Exactly. Snyder hitting .292 since June 1st. He has homered twice in the pinch this year. 1-0. Missed again. 2 balls, no strikes. Three and 0 with McCutchen on deck. You don't want to have to deal with him here.
It's fun though, with the ballpark being a little quiet, to hear that fastball pop the mitt.
Snyder homered off Brian Schlitter here at Wrigley on April 10th. Ground ball snagged by Rondon. He'll underhand flip to Valleca to end the inning. We'll go to the bottom of the ninth. Javier Baez, with all that power in the late innings, he'll lead it off when we return.
And here comes the Pirate closer, Mark Melancon, for the 62nd time. 2.14 ERA. 26 saves and 30 tries. Awfully tough to hit. More so for left-handed hitters. He throws that cut fastball in on their knuckles and gets a lot of weak contact. Plenty of swings and misses. So a lot of cut fastballs from Melancon. He has a good curveball as well.
Baez bounces foul.
Melancon, a loser last time out to St. Louis on Wednesday. Allowed 1 run in an inning and 2/3. Again, an instance where Clint Hurdle asked a little more out of Melancon in that outing. The curveball. That was a 1-0 Cardinal win. Peter Borges with a walk-off base hit.
The aforementioned Brian Schlitter up in the bullpen, 0-2. Javier chased a really bad one. He swung at 2 pitches in that sequence that bounced probably 18 inches in front of home plate. 1 away.
And his best chance was to catch that one on the bounce.
Cutter for a strike on the outside. Jam shot roller. Barmas hurries and gets Valbuena for the out. Cubs had a pretty good opportunity in the 7th as Watson walked a couple before Soler came up, but neither team really knocking the cover off the ball as we have resumed today. You're right. It kind of has that feel that we had against the Giants a couple weeks ago. Pitchers dominating.
Well, when Petit came into the game, he was in the midst of that record-setting run of 46 consecutive batters that he retired.
Soler looks at ball one. Davis to Melanson. And a 7-pitch 1-2-3 ninth. We'll go to extras. 3-3. Jack Link's Beef Jerky. Feed your wild side. Here's Brian Schlitter. We're in the 10th.
Well, Brian's game a little bit different than the pitchers we had been seeing. He's got a good fastball. It just doesn't. He's not a mid-90s, 97-mile-an-hour guy. He throws a lot of sinkers. He pitches to contact. So you see the low strikeout rate, 25 strikeouts and 50 in the third innings. He's walked 15, allowed 44 hits. Gets a lot of ground balls. A sinking fastball that he relies heavily on. Throws his two-seamer over 70% of the time. Every now and then a four-seam fastball. And a slider and a changeup as well.
So, some bonus baseball added to some bonus baseball. Here's McCutchen.
If there were ever a day you didn't mind spending extra time at the ballpark, this would be it. It is gorgeous here this afternoon.
And a strike called. Cubs 7-9 in extras. Pirates 7-6. 1-run games. The Pirates have played 54 of them. 27 up, 27 down. Cubs 16-20. Games decided by 1. Schlitter from Park Ridge, Illinois. Quick pitch, swing and a miss. How about that? The new wrinkle, taking a page out of Pedro Strope's book.
And Strope, we see Carlos Villanueva break it out every now and then. He didn't sacrifice any velocity or movement either. 95 with good running action to get the strikeout.
Martin with that .409 on base average. Sinker in there, 95. Schlitter strong today.
He is fresh, crisp.
One and one. Slider that time in the dirt. By the way, the reason we did not continue last night, field had taken on a lot of water, would have taken quite a bit of time to get it ready to resume, and they were expecting more rain later. So it looked like we were going to be in for the long haul. And with a tie ball game in the 7th inning, there wasn't a lot of downside to kind of pushing it back to today. Prior to the Giants series, the last suspended game here at Wrigley Field happened back in the 1980s, 1987. That was pre-lights here at Wrigley. July 10th, 1987. Against the Dodgers, suspended because of darkness.
Another quick pitch.
Yeah, and both times with 2 strikes, and he's gotten a swing and a miss.
He's had enough of this pitch to contact stuff. He's going to become a strikeout pitcher too. There he goes. Just a quick hesitation, slide step and go, and again he gets that real good movement at 95 miles an hour.
Marte with 2 outs, nobody on. Strike called. Lined off the glove of Alcantara. I think he mistimed it a little bit. And Marte is aboard.
And maybe jumped when he didn't need to. Humpback liner, and yeah, should have had that one. It's a base hit, but that's one there's many will tell you he should have caught. Well, I suspect Marte will be looking to steal a bag here. Stunned if he doesn't try.
Three in the 10th. He takes off. Baker's throw is in plenty of time.
Close.
Not even close is right. Slide step by Schlitter gave Baker all kinds of time. And we'll go to the bottom of the 10th. We're still tied at 3. the ninth, so he gets another inning. Watson went 2. And here's Chris Coghlan. Melanson rocking on that mound. Here's the pitch. Cutter swung on and missed.
And Melanson, like Mariano Rivera, I think a lot of people would say you're better off sending right-handed hitters up there against him, even though he's a right-handed pitcher. Cutter moving away from the right-handed hitter out towards the barrel, you got a better chance. It's in on the hands of these left-handed hitters. Shatters a lot of bats. A lot at stake here for Clint Hurdle, using his closer for a second inning in a tie ball game. There's the evidence to support it. Lefty's hitting just $170 against him.
One and two.
Not a one-trick pony. Good curveball there. Melanson, a big part of the Pirates' success last year as a primary setup man for Jason Grilli. It was a heck of a 1-2 punch. Melanson and Grilli, the bullpen of the Pirates last year, probably the strongest component of that team.
I'm trying to think of another late inning guy in baseball who has this repertoire. Strike 3 called. Cutter curve. Yeah, it's interesting. Well, Coghlan is out.
Like Honora ruled a swing here by Coghlan, borderline in terms of the location. Big guy with the Dodgers. Kenley Jansen throws a lot of cutters. I don't know what he throws with him. I think he throws a curve or probably a changeup. A lot of guys try to stay away from the curveball because the potential for hanging it and giving up a big home run is there, but that hasn't been a problem for Melanson.
Walenka out in the left center, and he's going to be held to a single. And Jansen's cutter, slider, sinker. Third hit of the day for Walenka, and here's Ryan Kalish.
Pirates in their home ballpark at PNC Park back in Pittsburgh. It's a vast outfield there, so really important to have speedy outfielders in that ballpark. They have the ability to heat up a lot of ground out there and take would-be doubles and turn them into singles.
Kalish was packing up his stuff here in Chicago. He kept his place here, even though he had spent much of the year at Iowa. And I got a phone call the other night and said they said the Cubs need you at Wrigley. He said, all right, I'll be there.
I'm good with that. Yeah.
So here he is, back with the club. Selected from Iowa on Wednesday. He did make the opening day roster, 39 games before being optioned on May 26th. 1 ball, 1 strike. Two and one.
Kalish, 26 years of age, at one time one of the top prospects of the Red Sox. Debuted with them in 2010. He's dealt with all kinds of injuries.
flied out as a pinch hitter against Milwaukee on Wednesday. Valleca runs, foul tip. Safe as the throw is just off to the shortstop side. Barmas had a long way to go with that glove hand. Valleca got in. Winning run is there with one out.
Yeah, that was the difference. The throw's on the shortstop side. If it's not, Valleca's out. Brewers has to lean way out to get it. And as he reaches back to apply the tag, Valbuena able to sneak in there. Or Valleca, excuse me, prior to the tag.
First big league stolen base for Chris Valleca. First attempt at that.
He is a clutch base stealer. Gets them when they matter most.
Ground ball right to Barmas. And Kalish is out. Winning run at third, but 2 away. By the way, Valleca 22 stolen bases in 9 minor league seasons, caught 22 times. Not a big part of his game, but that could be a key one. That could have been an inning-ending double play.
Yep. Chance for John Baker to be a hero.
For 3 with an intentional walk. Bottom of the 10th, runner at third, 2 outs, and a 3-3 tie. Here's Melanson's pitch, almost hit him. Boy, Martin just saved the game, at least for the time being.
Cutter down and in. Did he ever lose control of the ball? I couldn't tell. And I wasn't sure if he didn't know he had it or if he was trying to dig Valleca, as if the ball had gotten by him. If he did, he's really clever.
Scalded foul, look out. Looks like everybody's all right. I think the attendance has about quintupled since the first pitch was thrown today, resuming in the 7th.
Mm-hmm.
One and 2.
Reminds me of when I was a kid and going to church. When I first got there, nobody would be there, and halfway through the proceedings, it feeling pretty good. You ready for the ball in the dirt here?
Right on cue, and Martin blocked that one.
You have to be able to make that pitch and trust your catcher to block it. He uses that spike grip. You can see his index finger raised up off the ball a little bit. Helps get leverage with the middle finger where he really pulls the seam to get the good spin on the curveball.
There's the winning run. That's Valleca. Full count. Caesar is on deck.
Inning and 2/3 from Melanson so far today matches his longest outing of the year. He did it last time out, that loss I mentioned at St. Louis.
Here it comes. Swing and a miss to end the 10th. So the Cubs strand a man 90 feet away. Melanson 2 scoreless. We go to the 11th. right. Wada, Villanueva, Grimm, Ramirez, Strop, Rondon, Schlitter, and Wright.
That makes Wesley Wright pitcher number 8 for the Cubs here this afternoon. Well, you know what I mean. Yesterday and
in this
today.
game.
Yeah, in this ball game. 45 1/3 for Wesley. Ike Davis. The pinch hit for Gabby Sanchez, who started the ball game. Davis pinch hit back in the 5th, so he's 0 for 2.
You've got 2 lefties due up, and then the switch hitter in the middle, Walker. Davis, Walker, Polanco.
Davis and Walker both have cups named after them.
That's a good point.
They need a guy named Ryder on their team.
Stanley. Swing and a miss. Back-to-back sliders. It's 0-2.
All right, a good guy to get the call in this situation with the lefty power threat up Davis, then the switch hitter Walker. We've talked about Walker's breakdown left and right, far more dangerous from the left side.
Davis acquired from the Mets on April 18th. Here's a pitch. Another slider. 1-2. John Holtzcomb. He throws a palm ball. You don't hear too much about palm balls, fork balls, and screw balls.
No.
But occasionally we see guys who throw those pitches. Davis breaks his bat as he hits a soft liner to the shortstop Baez for the out. Here comes Neil Walker again. One more homer, he'll tie Bill Mazeroski's single season home run record for a Pirates second baseman. Maz hit 19 back in 1958.
Mazeroski, a Hall of Famer, one of the greatest defensive players ever. I didn't know he had that much pop. I didn't know he hit that many home runs in a season.
Well, he did that year.
Yeah, I'm just looking at his numbers now. 138 career home runs in double figures. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 different times.
Yeah, that was his career high, and it was in his 3rd season. Yeah, he was not really known for his bat. I mean, he never did hit 300 in 17 years with the Pirates, career 260, but he had one of the biggest home runs in World Series history, a game ender in Game 7 against the Yankees in 1960.
Over the head of Yogi Berra, who was playing left field for the Yankees. You've seen the images of Maz circling the bases, cranking his arm.
That ball pulled in the left. Coughlin over to play it. Walker hustling to second. He'll slide in with a double.
Slider that was intended to be in on him, and it just floats out over the outside part of the plate, and it was up, allowing Walker to pull it to left field for a 1-out double. And now Polanco with a chance to give the Pirates a lead.
Polanco, as we talked about yesterday, got out to that great start. He set a club record by putting up an 11-game hitting streak to begin his career in June. He Got sent to the minors in late August to work on his swing. Now back here for his final playoff push. There it is, Mazeroski beating the Yankees. Pirates won all the close ones. The Yankees the blowout wins. So the Pirates were outscored in that 7-game series, but it didn't matter. They won 4 and the Yankees only got 3.
Love the scrum at home plate with the players. All those, I don't know if they're fans, executives, media.
Go ahead run there at second base. That's Walker. 1-1 on Polanco. Two and 1.
Polanco at the big league level this year, hitting just 156 against left-handed pitching, 12 out of 77. For the year at AAA, he was a .328 hitter, 17 doubles, 5 triples, 7 home runs. He drove in 51 in 69 games.
In the air, this could be trouble. Long run Baez and Coghlan. It drops, but it's foul as they both tumble. And hopefully they're all right. Good effort. And unfortunately, that ball did not land fair.
The Cubs have had a couple near misses down the line here in this ball game, and now the Pirates almost take the lead. That one just barely foul. Baez goes low. Coghlan stays high. What could have been a very dangerous situation. Everybody comes out of it doing okay.
Thankfully, Baez did not take a knee in the head.
A great effort. Baez had a long way to go. Channing Polanco up the middle. So a lot of real estate to cover for Baez.
Two the count. Runner at second, one away. Here it is in the dirt. Full 3-2. Clint Barmas waits on deck. Good battle here between Wright and the rookie Polanco. And Polanco draws the walk. It will not be Barmas. Former White Sox Brent Morel instead. bring out Chris Bosio as he'll discuss some strategy.
Start him with this. You can finish him with that. Better in than out. Things of that nature. Morel, 27 years old. Cal Poly, San Luis Obispo. '22 big league at bats with Pittsburgh this year. This is, however, his 4th stint with the big club this season. .271 hitter down at AAA with 4 home runs. That was in 376 plate appearances.
So 2 on and 1 out, and the pitch to Morel is outside.
This time of year, you got to gather all your intel on all these players, guys that haven't been in the big leagues very much. Reach down to those minor league scouting reports.
The left-hander inside move. Walker did not have a very big lead. Contra trying to keep Walker as close to the bag as possible. The pitch misses. Ball 1. Morel, 194 games over parts of 4 seasons with the White Sox, including 126 games, 10 homers in 2011. 3-0 now. The very dangerous Josh Harrison on deck.
Yeah, Wesley working himself into a little bit of a bind here.
Three and 1. There it is. High to Lodum. A double followed by 2 walks. And it will be Harrison. An unlikely all-star this year, but he has followed up that initial nod with an even better second half. There are a lot of people who wondered if he should have been an all-star, but he has kind of answered all those questions, hasn't he?
He's had a heck of a year. A guy who's primarily been a part-time player, has played his way into a full-time role and taking full advantage.
783 was his OPS in the first half. 964 since the break as he fouls off. Swing and a miss, so right ahead 0-2. Tony Sanchez has jumped into the on deck circle and would bat for Melanson. Wright would love a double play ball here and just get out of this inning without having to worry about Sanchez. Cornerman pulled in, chance for 2 up the middle. into center. Base hit. Everybody will advance one. Caesar's throw will be cut off by Valleca. Harrison with his 4th hit. And it's 4-3 Pittsburgh. That came on an 0-2 pitch. Harrison hitting .222. Down 0-2. That caught way too much of the plate.
Yeah, you know, I don't mind attacking a hitter 0-2 depending on who it is and what the situation is, but clearly Wesley didn't hit his spot there. Looked like they were trying to go hard in, maybe to get a little ground ball to the left side and get 2, and just right out over the plate.
So it is Tony Sanchez, catcher by trade, but playing pinch hitter here as the Pirates try to add on. Right now a 1-run ball game. So Melanson, the pitcher of record for the Pirates. For the closer, a chance for a win. And it looks like Clint Hurdle is going to use the rookie Holtzcomb to try to get what would be at the moment a save in his 2nd major league appearance. Fouled off.
How hard do you think that heart is beating?
The 1-1 outside, 2-1. Oh, a little stumble by Caesar, and he'll still get there to make the catch. Here comes Polanco, and he will score. So a sacrifice fly for Sanchez. It's 5-3.
That's a huge run for the Pirates. Holtzcomb out there getting ready to come in to work the bottom of the inning. See if Polanco waited long enough. Yep.
Some long legs. And he scored easily. So 1st and 3rd, 2 runs in. Yeah, the Holtzcomb story is pretty interesting. He was pitching in an indie ball earlier this year. Seth Meyers on Late Night earlier this week did a bit where he said if Jerry Seinfeld and I had a kid, that's who we would have had. Can you see the resemblance?
I do, yeah.
Yeah. 6'7", 225.
His brother used to pitch with the Pirates. He was in their organization for a while.
Lincoln?
Yeah.
Holtzcomb?
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Here comes Ricky Renteria. And he wants Fujikawa to face McCutchen. So that's it for right. It'll be righty versus righty when we return. the 11th.
Pitcher number 9 is Fujikawa. He's on for the 10th time. No record, a 4.32 ERA. Some good, some bad. Since rejoining the club. Spent the bulk of the year coming back from Tommy John surgery. So a little more giddy up on the fastball. At times we've seen him up to 92 miles an hour. Slider after he had to realign the bone chips first.
So they have runners at first and third, leading by a couple, again with a rookie coming up. And what would be a save situation at the moment in the bottom of this 11th inning. Fujikawa to McCutchen. The pitch. First pitch swinging. He pops it up. Baez on the left side to end the inning. But they get a couple. And we go to the last of the 11th. 5-3 Pittsburgh. Inning stays in and plays third. That'll move Harrison over to short. Third shortstop today. Mercer, Barmes, and Harrison. And here's tall right-hander John Holtzcomb.
Yeah, boy, he got some long legs, doesn't he? Big lanky right-hander. 18 games at AAA, Indianapolis, 2-0 with a 249 earned run average. Successful in his 2 save opportunities there. 26 years of age. Originally signed with the Mets back in 06.
Went to Salt Lake Community College.
4th round pick. He'd been drafted out of high school by the Mariners. Didn't sign.
Born in Pasadena, California. So tell us about the palm ball.
Oh, well, it's just it's a different kind of a changeup where he just grips it way back in the palm of the hand.
Facing Matt Caesar.
Got a plus fastball that he goes with that palm ball. That one's clocked at 96 miles an hour. Most guys really pronate the palm ball. They kind of throw it with their palm turned outward.
Punched out in the left center. Harrison going after it, and he makes a catch over the shoulder. And Now he's hurt.
Maybe rolled an ankle.
Well, they're holding their breath in the Pirates dugout right now. Josh Harrison, who's been their MVP this year, is down. It might have been after the play had basically been completed.
Yeah. Boy, he's in a good bit of pain. Let's take a look. Boy, he makes a heck of a play over the shoulder. Everything's good here.
Oh, right.
Does a little high stepping, and then as he turns right there.
Oh, yeah, right there. Turned it. I was wincing, waiting for it. And now Clint Hurdle is kind of waddling out there. Talked to Clint today. He has got a really bad right hip. He's going to have hip replacement surgery basically immediately after the season ends. I actually was in his office today as he was trying to tie his right shoe, and it was painful. It was more painful for him than I, but
painful to watch too.
It was, yes. And Harrison
can limp off together, or is Harrison trying to talk his way into staying in the ballgame? Because sometimes you see you roll that ankle and there's that initial pain, and you think, oh no, and then if you give it a little time, it'll settle down. And they're going to get him out, I think. But he's moving better. Likely will swell up on him a little bit. There's a good chance we won't see him in game 2.
Well, that's Chase Darno, brother of Travis, a catcher for the Mets. So this is the 4th shortstop today.
Yeah, it's like spring training, except for the games really matter. So Holtzcomb, his brother Lincoln, was with this organization. He was with the Astros a little bit. And I remember there was a story about him. And I was just pumping around here on the Google machine and found it. His bio at one time, his brother's bio, claimed that he was a child prodigy who played the piano on the Tonight Show with Johnny Carson. And when pressed on it, he said no. He and his brother, the big lanky right-hander you're looking at now, they just made that stuff up. So a couple of free-spirited guys.
So he'll take a couple of warm-up tosses, says he's ready, and Alcantara coming up. Did not see a palm ball in that first AB. We might hear, though, against the switch hitter.
So it's just another name of a change. That's not all that different than a circle changeup grip. A lot of guys, when they throw that palm ball, I shouldn't say a lot because a lot don't, but the players that I talk to, they say they use a real stiff wrist delivery. It's just something he happened to stumble upon as a teenager. Didn't have much of a breaking ball, and this was the first off-speed pitch that he felt comfortable with.
That's probably how a lot of people who've never played baseball actually throw one if they're asked to do so.
Yeah, just grip it real
just
tight,
grab it, throw it.
Wrap it up and throw it.
That's why some of the first pitches we see, the ceremonial first pitches, end up 17 feet wide of the plate. 1-1 on Alcantara. Three and one. Get on base. That is the #1 chore here. Down 2. Full count, 3-2. Called strike 3, top of the zone on a fastball that cut a little bit. 2 away.
Alcantara thought it was high. Ryan O'Nora thought it was good enough. Cubs are down to their last out.
Interesting day for Baez. Single, strikeout, strikeout, walk, strikeout. Holtzcomb pitched for the Amarillo Sox and the San Angelo Colts earlier this year. The American Association and the United League Baseball.
And both independent leagues. It's interesting. He started with the Mets in 2006 in the Gulf Coast League. 2006 through 2012 here. I don't see an appearance above A ball. A lot of rookie ball and A ball. Look at the numbers, a lot of walks, so good arm, but not able to harness it for a good long while. Ends up back in independent ball this year, and Pirate Scout saw him throwing today. We like your stuff. A couple of appearances at Double-A, Altoona, and then with their Triple-A club, and here he is in the big leagues.
And he just notched his first career save as he strikes out Baez to end the ball game.
Pretty amazing story.
Well, Holmescomb will get the ball from his catcher. Pirates obviously have to be concerned about Josh Harrison, who had to leave due to injury, but they get a key ball game here with 2 runs in the 11th. Time for our final score in 11. The Pirates 5 and the Cubs 3. We're back with you in about 40 minutes. With Game 2 of this series coming up next. Blue Cross Blue Shield Cubs post-game live.